Hello, Reformers, and welcome back to Nova Aetas. Now, when we left off, there were a bunch of things that we needed to take care of, and I think I may have solved our money problems, because, oh yeah, it's been a long time. It has been a long time. As you can see by the date, I have been running around attempting to do as many tournaments, take as many slaves, take as many people prisoner as I can, and eventually I was able to purchase mansions in Yalen, Zendar, and Jakelle, and I don't believe I have anything in Veluca or anywhere else, but I was basically just trying to get a profit every single week, and I have, I think, about 3 mansions in Yalen, because obviously every single tournament you do, you basically get 1 mansion. So that's pretty good. And then obviously as I've been going around, I've been gaining money from the mansions that I've bought. So I'm doing okay. And then of course our colony, the only colony called Diggory, obviously, that has above 100 colonists, that is now making dyes. And I looked it up because I didn't know whether it actually did require it, but obviously logically you would assume that it would, and apparently the Weavery and Dye Works requires 2 raw silk and 1 dye. So I have been pumping the Weavery and Dye Works with the dyes from Diggory, and that has improved its profit margins by about 120% actually. So it's pretty good. That is pretty good to do. I wish we had a raw silk generator, because it seems as though the raw silk is definitely the main thing that costs a huge amount. But yeah, so other than that, if we scroll all the way over here to our colonies, as you can see, I have also taken an additional colony, and I haven't renamed it. I tend to forget that when I'm off screen. I tend to forget renaming things. But yeah, this one has tobacco, and apparently tobacco is the most expensive as far as I'm aware, or maybe I misinterpreted that comment, or, well, whatever the case, I thought it was a pretty nice colony to take, because now we have a trinity of colonies here. We have Diggory, we have Island of Bertild, and then, of course, I'm going to rename that to something else, but the point is, I've been doing a little bit of work on that. It has about 15 colonists around that, and about 35 capacity. The Island of Bertild is doing pretty well. It has about 60 capacity with 30 colonists as far as I'm aware, and Diggory has 180 capacity with about 140 or so colonists. So that's going pretty well, I think. Obviously, I do want to get both of these to 100 colonists so that we can actually start to harvest the resources from there, because I believe Island of Bertild gives us ivory, I think? I'm not entirely sure if ivory is any good, but anyway, point is, I've been doing that, and then obviously as I was running around doing the tournaments, I was leveling up units and fighting all kinds of bandits, ran into many Cathar extremists, which are annoying. They are very, very annoying. But that has resulted in us gaining some pretty decent units. I had these Huskars before, but I thought I may as well use them because they seem to be relatively good heavy infantry, and I thought, oh yeah, why not, let's use them. And then of course we do have these mounted sergeants, lots of man-at-arms, but not any knights. Yeah, knights are pretty hard to level up as far as I'm aware. I mean, how much does it require? 120. Wow, that's pretty insane. And then obviously the Vagia marksmen, they're not that difficult to level up at all. They just stay at the back and shoot, and they all seem to stay alive pretty easily. I actually did recruit about 30 of them, so most of them have actually died, so I don't know why I'm saying that. They do tend to die. Anyway, as you can see, our florins are doing quite well, and hopefully we'll get a weekly wages report, and we'll be able to see what's actually going to happen there, because I have a feeling that maybe we are going to see some really, really nice profits there. Okay, so there's a small recap of what I have been doing, and you have caught me at a very, very nice time here. Obviously, I say caught me, but I actually started the recording, so it's my fault. But anyway, as you can see here, I have improved the effectiveness of the Weavery and Dye Works by quite a bit by investing in the Enterprise. As you can see here, there's nothing left for me to invest in, and I have 2 craftsmen. I don't believe... Can I hire any more? Apparently I can. Oh, wow. Okay, so that's kind of amusing, because when I was doing this beforehand, it didn't allow me to hire any more craftsmen. So there we go, there's more net profit. And if I show the stockpile, as you can see here, there's 2 bolts of velvet, and I have a huge amount of dye in my inventory. Now, the reason why we have 2 velvet bolts here is because I told him to stop production, because I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to see what I can do about improving the profits. So I thought, well, maybe if I'm able to sell this velvet somewhere else that is going to give me a better price. I don't know whether that's actually going to make any difference, but I'm just trying to make as much money as possible, because I have heard that when you create a faction, you are going to have many, many problems with money, and I am trying to set up a really, really cool real estate empire so that I don't have to worry about paying, you know, nobility tax and things like that, because the nobility tax, according to some of you that have sent me messages and helped me out a little bit, that is very, very expensive. And I am kind of worried about starting a faction, because I was actually going to work towards that. And I thought, okay, I'm going to do some research on this, because I don't really want to start it and then find out that there is a huge problem with my funds right now. So, yeah. So, yes, every single vassal that you have apparently causes you to lose 45,000 florins every single week. And I'm not entirely sure if that's true. No, it's not 45,000 for each, as far as... Is it? It could be. Oh, yeah, it could be, actually, yes. 45,000 per vassal. But then it's also counterbalanced by the commoners that you have, as well as the taxes and tariffs at your various fiefs that you may or may not have. So if you think about that, there is a huge loss to be had. So, at least for me right now. So I'm going to wait here for some time, just a little bit, just to make sure that everything is cool here. Oh yes, also, you may see that my character is a little bit different now, mainly because the money that I've been getting, I was able to purchase some better armor. This armor cost me about 12,000, and I got another helm that cost me about 4,000, and I got some gloves which I think were about 5 or something along those lines. So yeah, it was pretty expensive, but I was waiting here for some time, and I basically just gained money from my real estate while I was obviously training up my forces and things like that. But anyway, we now have 4 in Iron Flesh, and you may be thinking, well, how do you have 4? How do you have 4 in Iron Flesh? Well, one of those trait events popped up, and it said, okay, so yes, you have an 85 or 95 or something along those lines percentage chance to gain a bad honorable trait. But on the flip side, you gain +2 to Iron Flesh. So I thought to myself, well, that's a no-brainer for me. I would very much like to have +2 to Iron Flesh, because now that makes us a little bit harder to kill, and I like that quite a bit. So yeah, that's what I did, and we are now losing -5 prestige every single week, which is actually not bad. Not bad at all, because we're gaining 10 and we're losing 5, so we're technically gaining 5, so it's actually not a big deal at all. So, with all of that talking out of the way, I think we are going to be heading on somewhere else, and I think that somewhere else is probably, it's probably going to be the Aztec lands, because what I would like to do, I would like to raid some of their villages, because one of you said that their units are absolutely terrible, and it would probably make sense to, well, just raid them instead of, you know, recruiting them. Because if we decide to, oh, they're aggressive towards us, aren't they? It might be an idea to attack them. Do I want to attack them? That's the thing. Not really. I suppose it's not really a good idea, because they're just going to hate us even more, and they might actually come after us when we create our faction, and things like that, so... Yes, okay, it's a little bit bothersome, I suppose, but yeah, there is that nobility tax, so we have to take that into account. So people saying in the comments, create your own faction, I would love to, because there are many, many mechanics. I didn't go through all of them when I was looking it up, but there are so many mechanics involved in creating your own faction, and that's fantastic. I love that. I love having some additional kingdom management options. But for the most part, you definitely want to have a really, really solid base of gaining cash. Because if you're not, you are going to have so many problems, and I really do not want to have that problem. I would very much like to just be able to make our own faction and be safe in the knowledge that we have enough money to take care of anything and everything that may pop up. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and raid some Aztec villages, maybe take on a vassal or so, but for the most part, what I'm going to need to do is just basically build and expand my real estate empire. I have been playing for about an hour and a half off screen, and that may not seem like a long time to some of you, but it kind of is to me, because obviously I have other series to produce and you know, other things that I need to do. But yeah, anyway, the point is that hopefully we are going to have, I would say, all mansions in Valuka, all mansions in Aldurius, and keep going throughout the land and try and get as many real estate opportunities as possible. Now, the only thing that I would like to do is maybe save up and get a palace, but I'm not entirely sure how much a palace will give us, so I'm gonna just see about that, because it is, I think, a cost of 69,000 or something along those lines, and mansions only cost about 15 to 20, so I'm not entirely sure. I mean, you could buy how many? You could buy 4 or more mansions for that price, so I would assume that palaces are just insane, and they'd probably give you a huge rental increase. So if we're able to do that, that would be fantastic, but if not, then that's just how it is. Okay, so let's disembark here and see how many forces they have here, because we might actually want to try a siege. I'd like to see what's actually inside here. Ooh, 268. Shall we try? Well, I have to say I don't know, because if we try it, we are probably going to get killed, aren't we? Yeah, we're probably going to get killed. It's probably a better idea just to be on the cautious side of things, because even though I would love to be able to show you all a siege map in the Aztec lands, and I mean, I would very much like to see that. I am a little bit worried about, well, having what happened in the previous episode happen again. So yeah, hopefully we're going to avoid that. Oh, hello there. You seem to... Who's that? That's Zoko. Zoko is attempting to maybe reinforce. He's patrolling around. Okay, I'm going to attack him. Let's do this. Okay, it's just him. It is just him against us. So I have a very good feeling about this. Or do I? Yeah, I have a very good feeling. Look, he's 81 against 112. I don't know what he's doing. I think he must have slight delusions of grandeur, perhaps. I would very much appreciate if he did, because obviously that's going to mean that we're very good. We're very well off. I don't have a new horse because I didn't have enough money really to spare on a new horse, so I kind of just left that. I also don't have a new bow either, and my weapon is exactly the same. My shield is exactly the same. And I was attempting to look for a new weapon and a new bow, but I could just not find a good bow. I don't know what's wrong, but maybe I need to go to the Vajir lands or something along those lines. I mean, again, because obviously I didn't look through the marketplaces there. I was just looking for forces and units and things. So yeah, okay, so apparently using my bow is not a very good idea right now. It seems as though there's not too much to be done, especially considering they are all kind of just standing there. I'd like to kill their leader. Ah, there we go. Is he going to... Are they going to charge now? Yes, we eliminated the leader himself. Yes, fantastic. So, are they going to charge soon, or maybe not? I'm kind of surprised that they're not actually charging yet. Well, this is weird. Are they waiting for us to come over? I kind of don't really like fighting next to the river, I have to say. I think fighting next to the river is very bad for us, because obviously we have so many cavalry. Oh. Well, this is kind of unfortunate, isn't it? I suppose we should just charge straight on in then, because they have 80, we have 72. I don't really know what to do. If they're not going to charge, then we may as well. Unfortunately, our horses are going to have extreme problems getting up there, aren't they? But it does seem as though we are getting a really nice pincer movement maybe going on. We'll see. We will see. But we've got to be really careful about this. Hopefully my shield will protect me enough, and I'll be able to distract them from the various infantry coming in. Okay, so let's thrust at them. Ah, I was attempting to thrust anyway. Oh, well, it's not going too badly so far. And, oh, no, we're losing a couple of our Norse units, but I suppose that is to be expected. Thankfully enough, most of these people have blunt weaponry, so they will not be able to actually kill our forces, apart from the warrior priests, by the looks of things. Is this a warrior priest? Yes, it is. Okay. Yeah, the warrior priests seem to be pretty good. They seem to be rather effective in combat, but obviously they don't seem to have much on Diggory. Oh, yes. Diggory is just an absolute beast with his amazing weapon. Thank you very much for telling me about that again. And yeah, look at that. It's an absolute slaughter. It is an absolute slaughter, and that's exactly what I mean. The Aztecs themselves are not actually very good, obviously, as you all have told me, but the problem with them is that they usually outnumber you, so it's a lot harder to fight them because they have numbers, obviously. It reminds me of the Skaven in Warsword Conquest very much. And yeah, even though some of the Skaven units are actually extremely difficult to kill, but anyway, the point is that some of these guys are exactly the same. They actually deal some pretty good damage. As you can see, I've taken quite a lot of damage in the process. I do need to stay alive, though. I do need to stay alive, because I am technically the medic. I am technically the medic, so if I die, then we lose wound treatment, we lose surgery, we lose everything. And that's actually really sad, because we also have pathfinding, and we are the only one with massive pathfinding skill. So there we go. We've eliminated all of them. We only lost 5 units to the Grim Reaper, and 8 of them were wounded, of course, because, well, we have surgery skill, and obviously they use blunt weapons. But look at that! 13 renown and 32 morale. That's what we want to see. That is what we want to see. This, however, is not what we want to see, them escaping. Them escaping is never a good idea. I'm going to release them and gain some prestige. I don't really care too much about that. And I don't even know whether I should be looting their armor, because I'm going to be raiding the nearby village. And we're going to see how that goes. So, should I do that? I have only 69 remaining. I think we can. I think we can do that. Let's go. Let's try and do this as fast as possible. Loot and burn this village. Okay, so now let's cross your fingers, and hope that no one turns up to attack us. I am very, very, very worried, because I don't want to be fighting at night either, and I don't want a huge band of them. No, we actually did manage to do this. I am really, really surprised. Okay, so, wow. Okay, so you all said that this was amazing, and I obviously believe you, but I didn't quite realize the scope of how amazing it can actually be. I mean, do you see this? Do you see this right now? This is insane. Absolutely insane. I cannot believe it. Wow. Okay, well, there you go. I'm going to take some fruit and all that sort of thing. I don't know whether I should take the rest. Should I take the rest? Ah, why not? I have the space for it, after all, but all of these things are going to sell for an absolutely amazing amount, and I have exactly, exactly the amount of inventory space required to take everything. So I am very, very pleased about that. Are there any other vassals that I can take on in the area? I don't know. Oh, there we go. We can happily inform you that your colony Diggory has reached a population of 150 colonists. New buildings are available, and you also have all buildings available. Ah, that's fantastic. Okay, so we can actually just head back there if we want, or we can go and sell our stuff. I'm not entirely sure. Should we? Let's just go back and take a look at the new buildings. I think that could be a fun experience. So let's go and do that. Okay, there's Diggory. There we are. Okay, that's fantastic. So let's go in. And yeah, so as you can see, there's our... Look at the work rate. The work rate is insane, and we already have 10 additional dies. And I could just take all those dies. I can't obviously do that right now, but I could. And we're going to go in to visit the colony once again. Okay, so not much has changed, as you can see here. Not much has changed, but I have just built additional little houses for them to, you know, sleep in and so forth. I'm actually going to move this wooden wall a little bit, because I'd like to be able to move around it if I can. Can I move around it? No, apparently there's an invisible wall here now, because obviously the wooden wall created the wall, and then you're unable to pass through it. So, okay, well, That's absolutely fine. Let's take a look at stage 4, shall we? Oh, look at this. A citizen's mansion. This is a great home for citizens who start begging to join your colony. A great manor. It is time to spend efforts into your personal building. And a large wall, a fountain, a windmill. Wow, that's fantastic. So that's plus 50% work rate. Okay, well, I'm going to go for the great manor, I think, because that gives us some prestige. And this is going to be huge. Absolutely huge. So let's see. Oh, nope, I didn't want to do that. Thank you. You can turn around a little bit. There we are. Okay, it's floating a little bit too much for my liking, so I'm going to have to reduce the height of it a little bit. But otherwise, I think we're good. I think we are very, very good. Look at that. Okay, so let's turn that around. And let's place it about here. And we can just lower it a little bit. There we go. Okay. The door needs to be there at least. Okay, so there we are. Excellent. Look at that. Now that's fantastic. Okay, so there you go. That was taking a look at the stage 4 buildings, and obviously the work rate has just gone skyrocketing. I mean, look at that, 609, and obviously the population is going to be at 180 very soon. I'm going to build some additional houses to ensure that the growth continues, because obviously once you have maximum growth and you cap out in terms of colonists, the work rate goes down by 100%, I think. So even though we have 500 or 600% now, it will just go down to, I think, probably minus 100% of that. So I'm not entirely sure on the calculations or anything, but I'm going to try and progress the other 2 colonies as well, and then we're going to see. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, one thing I would like to do is actually sell the loot we gained from the raid, because obviously that is going to be very... No, I don't wish to disembark, thank you. Oh, no. No, I almost got stuck in an infinite loop there. Ooh, that was close. That was very, very close. Okay, so, yeah, let's just go on to Zendar. And I'm wondering, because many of you have stated that, oh, wow, the Saranids are also already at stage 4. That is absolutely amazing for them, but obviously I'm nowhere near that. I'm nowhere near making my own faction even. But anyway, the point is, many of you have stated that you can get 15,000 from a raid, and I'm very much hoping that that is the case. So, let's sell a couple of things here. Okay, yeah, that's already 10,000. That is already 10,000. Absolutely insane. And anything else? Yes, there's that, and this. Fine silk. I guess I could sell that. Gold necklaces, gold bracelets, sable furs, ear pendants, ornate holy cross furs. Wow, it's even more than the estimate. That is insane. That is absolutely insane. Okay, so yes, iron, and use this to build a defensive structure. Do I want to do that? Not really. So, yeah, I think that's absolutely fine. I'm going to sell those things as well, because I don't really like it when they go rotting. It's kind of annoying. And there you go. So 21,512 florins. Insane. And that means I can actually buy another mansion, which is very, very good. So yeah, with that, I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.